are going to move into our next main topic today, and that is our fifth main topic. I know usually we only have five, but moving along quickly here, we have, let's see, where is it?
This weekend's box office.
There it is. Yeah, we have this weekend's box office. And this weekend's box office, as predicted, as always, as long as Wakanda Forever is going to be out. Let me see if I can find this thing here. Nope, that's not it. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. All right. And yeah, and again, I always like to use the guys over at Cinema Blend whenever we do the weekend box office, because they love to put up this little beautiful chart that I love to bring up for you guys, so you guys can have a more charted experience knowing what's going on. So of course, again, like we were talking about, as you can see, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever still brought in almost $46 million. You know, that's a ton of money, and it's doing great. It's at 370 almost domestically. Worldwide, it's got to be hitting over 600-700 million now. So that's as expected. Strange World, the new Disney animated movie that they didn't want to tell us anything about, and didn't want to market at all. And I guess I haven't seen the movie, so I don't want to completely, lie about what I'm going to say. But I guess the main characters are of LGBTQ, and so I think that there's a lot of discussion about them kind of hiding all the marketing for it for fear that it wouldn't do well. Well, it didn't do well anyway, because people didn't even know it existed. And way to run from something you created, Disney. Yeah, that thing's gonna bomb, and it's gonna lose them $200 or $300 million, and they deserve that. And yeah, honestly, from what I've seen of it, it looks kind of fun. Like it looks really. I love the animation style, at least. I watched a little piece of a trailer with my daughter was watching it. She was super interested into it. And I mean, it's for kids. So this seems like another example of Lightyear, where you just didn't market it. You didn't tell us what was going on, and we just didn't know what to expect, so nobody went out to see it. This seems like one of those Disney animated movies that should do well, like all of them, but whatever. And then third, and this is, the big thing was, and we're going to count this as, I know it says here, you guys can see that it says it made 9.2 million. We're talking about Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, which is Knives Out 2, right? But we're going to count the holiday weekend, because that's what they would normally do in a situation like this. So in the holiday weekend, it managed to pull in a little over 13 million in the box office. Now, guys, what I want to emphasize on here, and what's very important, is that this number right here, the 696, as you can see, Strange World, Wakanda Forever, all those were in 4,000 plus theaters, where Glass Onion was in a very small limited release. I actually wanted to go check out Glass Onion before today's show, but I just kind of didn't have time. But I am going to go check it out tonight. I will give my out of theater review as soon as I get out, like I always do, and then I will talk about it here on the show tomorrow and give you my kind of spoiler free review of it. But I'm actually really excited to see it now. I've seen a lot of pundits that I know around on YouTube that I love and respect, and I think that they've been saying it's better than the first one and stuff. So my hype for it's actually gone up. Like, me and Shane were just talking about it on the channel not that long ago. I was like, I'm not going out to theaters to see this. I'm gonna see it on streaming in 20 days. But yeah, hey, the word of mouth thing sometimes will get you, and I think it's got me. So I'm going to go check it out. And then we go on Devotion. I'm not even really sure what Devotion is, but after that we have The Menu. The Menu was, and most of you guys probably know what that is. It's kind of like Knives Out, like a whodunit suspense thriller in a way. I don't want to say it's, they're very different films from each other. But The Menu actually looks good. My wife really wanted to go see it. We were going to go see it instead of Glass Onion, but then when I started to hear all the stuff about Glass Onion, I was like, hey, it seems pretty obvious that we should go check that out if we're going to go to see a movie. And then, yeah, moving on, Black Adam was able to bring in 335, which is, it's okay where it's at. It's sitting at 162 domestic. Man, that's just so man, it's just so bad. And then, of course, you had the Fablemans, right? Which, honestly, the marketing push for this kind of came out of nowhere for me. And I've been seeing a lot about it. And it managed to bring in only $2 million. So that's not very good at all. It is also on kind of a limited release. And then Ticket to Paradise is still bringing in money. That movie's at $65 million total for domestic box office for Ticket to Paradise, man. That's awesome. That's a huge win for a film that nobody really was on nobody's radar, and probably most of you watching this show and everyone in this room will never see. So, but good for the box office, good for movies, good for whoever's in that, Alec Baldwin or whoever it was. It was one of those old white dudes. But yeah, I'm glad to see it. Yeah, again, this is kind of expected. We expected Black Panther. Honestly, I thought Knives Out would overtake Strange World, but it makes sense because it's in such a limited run of theaters. And we'll talk a little more about that in our last topic. But yeah, I want to kick it over to Shane. Shane, what are your thoughts on this weekend's box office?
Thank God for Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever.
No doubt.
They are single-handedly keeping the theaters open. I just read that with the help of Black Panther, obviously, and Knives Out, Glass Onion, that they were able to reach over 100 million in total theater sales this weekend, which is the third weekend in a row, which is the first time that's happened since July.
Jesus.
So it was a big weekend.
Which was like when Doctor Strange and all that.
Even though this is definitely a down year for Thanksgiving, and again, I didn't know anything about Strange World, but everything I read, it does look pretty good. And you're right, I think maybe they tried to just skirt, and it didn't pay off. And especially since this is one of the weakest movies, Disney animated releases in a long time.
Right.
And people like you're going to look back upon this and just see that number and be like, oh, that movie must have sucked. They didn't make any money.
Yeah, even if it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But with stuff like this, it happens. But yeah, it is, thank goodness for Black Panther. It is now just about $2 million from overshooting both Batman and Minions 2.
For domestic?
For total domestic.
Makes sense.
They're about to squeeze in nice and cozy there at number 3 spot. They're going to have to hit over another 50 mil to take over number 2 from Doctor Strange, but I think they can do that. Mm-hmm. I think the saddest thing, again, is Black Adam.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw this, but you can now stream it. You can rent it now.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
like the Fandango at home.
Yeah,
thing,
so it's pretty much that's
done.
the death rattle
for
for Black Adam in the theater. And it was able to, it's right now sitting at number 10. It's not going to last. It's going to get pushed out of the top 10 annually. It's going to finish right behind Sonic 2.
Jeez.
So not where DC was wanting it.
I mean, if I would have told you that months ago, 2 months ago, you would have bet your whole soul against it. Yeah. So would I have.
You got The Rock, you got Black Adam, a DC
movie. We knew Superman was going to be in it.
If I was Warner Brothers, I'd be feeling really nervous about Flashpoint. Because they spent a lot of money on that. It's going to be a big one. And you look at Black Adam, and it's like, man, it couldn't even make $200 million domestically. That's pretty much where you want to be at.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, again, even though it's got the sad points for this weekend, it's nice to see that they reached over 100 million for the third weekend. Maybe they can keep it going. Weekend number 4 coming up. But
yeah,
yep.
But yeah, and then have you had a chance to check out the trailer for The Menu?
No, I didn't even know about it.
You should check it out sometime. I think it definitely looks like something that we would be interested in because there's that whole what the fuck kind of thing going on, and it's kind of like I said. I don't want to say it's like Knives Out because it's nothing like that, but it's kind of like a whodunit mystery thing, but more like, twisted and less straightforward, and how Knives Out is. It's like made for your regular
very
dude.
Glossy,
yes,
family friendly.
This is like in the same kind of vein of what they're doing, but more like if, you know, someone
maybe more realistic.
Yeah,
twisted,
for sure. Yes,
darker.
for sure. Definitely. Yeah, a lot of things that you're not going to get. Like I said, Knives Out is really meant for your everyday person.
And more of a comedy. This Menu's probably more of a black comedy.
Yes, this is something, I don't know if there's even any comedy to it, where they're calling Knives Out just comedy in the genre, and that's it, which I wouldn't call, or the Glass Onion, they're calling that. I wouldn't call Knives Out a comedy. I didn't feel that way, at least.
It was definitely a comedy.
I mean, I chuckled at times, but
they tried.
But I wasn't there for the comedy, and I didn't feel like that was what
You do realize Clue is also a comedy.
Right? I mean, it is. I would give it more of a comedy than.
It's funnier.
Yes.
For sure.
but yeah, guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this weekend box office? Again, we knew Wakanda Forever was going to be up there. It will continue to until, of course, Avatar 2 comes out. So, but yeah, let us know whatever your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below.